everyone, and welcome to Tilt, the premiere episode with wonderful DM A. Kelly Lane and these other wonderful faces around the screen. But before we go around and say hello to all of these beautiful people, let's go through some links and things. The bot's going to spam them at you. You can see all of our social links, all the places you can support us, our sponsor information. Big thank you to Bird and the Storm Publishing and Mage Hand Press who make this all possible, and also some websites where you can get 10 to 15% discount using our special codes. We've got some special donations as well today. Check out the top of the screen for those. My brain's still in charity stream mode, so I thought I had other things to shout out, but we don't. Not a charity stream today. This one's all for me. I'm greedy like that. Let's hand over to Kelly. Hi.
Hi. I'm really excited to be here today, although a little bit nervous, being completely honest, as my first time DMing a full campaign, but these wonderful people here have been helping make me very comfortable, and I appreciate that they've been all in with me on this so far. To explain a little tiny bit more about our two higher tier donations, I've made my own version of Wish the spell, and at a £20 donation, you'll be able to let one of our player characters use that, and it'll be a little bit of a surprise of what they can do with it. And then at a £50 donation, you'll be able to work with me to create a location that will make an appearance in our game. So with that, we're going to go around and just have everybody really quickly introduce themselves, shout out their names, their Twitter handles, and we're going to dive into the game, and we're going to introduce our characters kind of as they make an appearance. So let's see. With a brick.
Hey, I'm Ray. I'm with a brick. I'll be playing Ipsis, who is a tiefling arcane trickster rogue. I'm very excited. You can find me at With a Brick everywhere.
And Scrat, you don't need much of an introduction, but if you want to take a shot at it anyway. And you're muted.
That's because I'm a pro streamer. You might know me from such channels as the Scratticus Academy, where they play roleplay games, I think. Otherwise, I'm just a tired boy who's been awake for too long, ready to play some sweet RPGs.
And Jess?
I'm also struggling with the mute button because I too am a pro streamer. I'm Jess. You can find me at Little Cup of Joe on the Twitch and the Twitters, and I'm playing Sandor, the sole human of the party, a barbarian.
And last but not least.
Am I muted? Hi, I'm Vera. I play one of the three tieflings, so it's gonna be a dumpster fire. You can find me at Vera Says Dragons just about everywhere on the internet.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to take you all with me on this journey to a little town called Dawn, which is nestled in between a large mountain range and a very large lake. Dawn sits comfortably in the middle of the only pass through the mountains. It is covered with snow, and it is almost eerily quiet. You can hear a bird, maybe a deer in the woods. But as we zoom in on the town itself, you can see that it's small. There are a few dozen people who make their lives here year-round, but it is busy with travelers, traders, merchants, people wandering through the pass, getting from point A to point B, maybe staying the night at the one local inn. We can pan up through the mountains and you see kind of stormy weather at the top, clouds putting snow down on the peaks. And you see what the town of Dawn may be most secretly famous for, the monastery and temple up at the top of the highest mountain peak. And going back into town, we see a half-orc woman who is tending her flock of mountain goats on the edge of town. And she realizes, she looks up at the sky and sees that the dawn has approached and that it's beginning to get light out. and she heads towards her barn, which is more like a small storage shed. But as she walks in, kind of gruffly swinging open the door, you see a pile of hay, and kind of laying on top / nestled in the pile is a humanoid figure who may smell a little bit of their antics from the night before. This half-orc woman kind of picks him up, gives him a good shake, and tosses him out the front door very abruptly, yelling after him, maybe one of these nights you won't end up back in here. And Jess.
Rude. So rude. Yeah, I think we see average-sized, fairly athletic-looking human fellow, although it's hard to tell under the loose way his clothing seems to just hang off of him as he staggers out there. Apparently now smelling of hay, but also smelling more than a little bit of probably alcohol and just a tap room. Mussy, kind of brownish hair in a very sloppy ponytail that sort of even covers one half of his face. Right, yep, sorry. Shit. He kind of digs in his pockets a little bit and finds they're empty because he definitely probably gambled the last coin away. All right, guess I'm gonna have to find a sucker. All right, time to start a new day. And he's gonna head out to the further down toward the edge of town to start people watching a little.
Yeah, so you walk kind of out to the edge of town. Town kind of ends very abruptly. You kind of hit the end of this half-orc woman's farm, and you hit trees. It's almost as if she cleared this open space herself. And there's kind of one wandering path through the trees. It's big enough for a cart to come up, but it's definitely rocky and uneven.
Okay.
And this might be a good spot for you to wait.
Yeah. So he's just going to kind of settle himself down against one of the trees, slightly out of sight from the road, and just kind of is gonna post up there, leaning with his sword, his hand resting on his swords at his hip, and wait to see if there's anybody that comes by that looks like they might have coin he can convince them to part with.
And as Sandor kind of leans and waits against this large pine tree, being able to smell this clean, snowy air, it is very cold outside. It's not a pleasant morning to wake up to. We see two tieflings coming up the road. And Scrat and Ray, would you like to each introduce your characters and you're walking up into town?
So Ipsis is about like 5'6", 5'7". She's got really long, matted, dirty, super brown, almost black hair with like a couple beads and feathers and just like weird dreadlocks, and just it's a mess. And she has these very large, almost obnoxious ram's-like horns, and she's got translucent, like silver purple skin and completely black, opaque eyes.
Lon's Delight is a heavy-set tiefling in heavy chainmail armor, which is kept quite well. She stands. I'll double check, but I'm fairly sure it's about 6'1". 6'3". She stands 6'3", because people who wonder at her height may look at her feet. Her hooves are actually naturally high-heeled. So she's girl be big. She's a big girl. And her skin is sort of like it's sort of on her face, mostly an amber orange hue, with pink piercing eyes. Fin horns. I can't remember the name of the animal, but like the goats with the long horns that just go back into a slight point like that. That's the kind of horns she has. Also black. Strawberry blonde hair that sits in like a pixie cut around her face. Reasonably pretty face, at least it was once. She's had her nose broken a few times.
Okay. And as you guys are coming up into town, what are you chatting about? What does this look like? Are you walking in silence? Are you talking about the weather?
Well, what do you think we should do today?
Find an inn somewhere and relax. We've been traveling for ages.
You're right. It's been a couple days now that we haven't even had proper sleep. So an inn sounds pretty much the best idea right now.
It doesn't look like it's much further.
It shouldn't be. It looks like we're coming right up into the busy part of town, so hopefully it's just around the corner.
And through the trees, you can begin to see kind of where a couple 100 yards up, where the trees are clearing through. You can maybe see off in the distance a building or two, maybe some smoke rising above the top of the tree line. And Jess, would Sandor be trying to hide from them as they come up the road, or?
He's not so much hiding as he's just kind of leaning there, waiting. He would be easy to miss if they weren't actively scanning the sides of the road. But he's not actively hiding. In fact, I think as they start to get closer, he's going to take a look, and if he can ascertain that there's just the two of them in that group, he'll kind of stroll out onto the road in front of them and just
and it doesn't really seem like there's anyone around. A moment or two listening, you don't really hear any other people coming up the road in either direction. It's very early.
Yeah, too early to be awake, but he's doing it. And he just sort of crosses into the road as steadily as he can manage and just sort of stops there, waiting for them. Morning!
Lonsdelight will sort of step forward ahead of Ipsis. Good morning. Are you
Morning.
a representative from the town? Greetings?
You might say that. Where are you headed from?
Why does it matter?
Curious. We get a lot of people from everywhere around here.
Well, you're right there. We're from pretty much everywhere.
Good to know. So, I really am not into cutting these introductions too short, but honestly, and he draws his sword just in this very lazy, slow motion, left-handed, and levels it at them. Listen, I just need a minute of your time and some of your money.
Money?
Make this quick, okay?
Is that what this is about? You want some coin?
Yeah.
Coin? Are you not eating? You need food?
I just roll my eyes at this point. Like, I know what's coming. I'll just roll my eyes.
That was super not the response he was expecting, clearly. He's just very, well, I mean, I'm not gonna
Starts
turn
walking
down
up to you.
charity.
And she
Might
like,
as well just
Put
put
the
the
sword
away.
up, and he's not, like, being particularly offensive about it.
is it like a rapier or a short sword? Or?
It's a long sword, and he is notably keeping it pretty level with one hand, and he has another one at his waist as well.
So what Lonsdale would try to do is approach and push the sword aside with the back of her hand and be like, "You look skinny."
Hey, is that how you talk to someone who's trying to rob you?
You're not robbing anyone. Come on, let's take you to an inn and get you fed. You can't be out on the streets like this, just accosting random people. That's not how people act. We're new to this town. You're supposed to be setting an example.
You might as well just put the sword away and follow us, because she's not gonna let up unless you just do what she says. So take my advice and just come to the inn and one meal. Then you can go on your way if you really decide to.
All right. Whatever. Hell, sure. What? I'm not going to turn down a free meal. He just jams the sword back in his sheath. Who the hell are you guys exactly?
I'm Lonsdale. I mainly work as a mercenary.
Oh.
And I'm Ipsis. I do a lot of things. Mostly now mercenary work with Lonsdale.
Huh. Sandor. Same. Minus the with you part. Inn's this way. Come on. He'll turn and
See, you get a meal, we get a guide. This is a much better arrangement.
Yeah, whatever you say. As long as you're willing to buy some booze.
So speaking of being a guide, how long have you been here? Do you live in the town?
No. I worked in the area for a little while. Just haven't exactly been able to leave. Mercenary business has been kind of slow in this spot. Hence the robbing you thing. Nothing personal.
None taken. Fair. I get it.
Right. Well.
And you guys head into town. Sandor, you would very comfortably know the way to the inn. That is the one place that you could reliably probably get to, given how much you frequent the location. Yep. And you walk through town, and there's everything from kind of cabins to a bit larger wooden structures. You can tell that there's kind of one section of town that's a lot of houses, and you may even see some people waking up and beginning to kind of go about their daily tasks. Nobody really pays you any mind. As you walk through town, you pass what looks like a trading stop, a general store to one side, and there's really not much else here, but the path that you're walking on through town seems well worn. There's maybe muddy spots. It's the snow is actually cleared from it. You can get through really easily, and you end up at the local inn called Midnight. A big wooden painted sign on the door says, "Welcome to Midnight, open midnight to midnight. It's midnight anytime."
Looks like we got
you walk in, and you realize the first thing you notice is thank you, Raiders.
Welcome, Raiders. And also thank you, Sammy, for the reroll. Kelly, you have a reroll from you girl.
Oh, thank you. And so the first thing you notice is the door of this inn and tavern. It has multiple doors in it. It's like there's a really big door and a little door and a littler door. It's almost as if people from different sizes can very easily pick the door of their choosing. You walk in, and Sandor would not really notice anything odd about this place because you've been here a few times. But Ipsis and Lonsdale, you may notice that it's not quite what you would normally see. It looks like you kind of picked up your chair by the door, and there's chairs of all different sizes. There's tables of all different heights and sizes. Some of the chairs have arms or not. It's very eclectic mix of furniture, but it definitely looks like it's designed to be accessible to whoever wants to come in. And you see kind of running back and forth already, even at this early hour, behind the counter is this small halfling woman with purple hair, bouncing back and forth. If you actually look at the counter itself, it looks like behind it there's stairs where she can kind of pop up and be above the counter height. And there's not too many patrons here this early. It seems like everybody is still kind of waking up, but there is one person kind of sitting off in the corner, maybe eating some breakfast. And Vera, would you like to describe Ransom for us?
Okay, so in a corner, kind of by himself, watching everybody. Like, he's at a corner, but his back is to the corner, and he's watching the entire room. You see a lilac-skinned tiefling male with kind of short, wavy horns that go straight back. He has very dark violet hair with choppy bangs. Refined features, like he's pretty, but it also kind of looks like he hasn't slept in a month. And he's kind of just sipping at his water and watching the room. And he looks at you guys and looks at Sandor. Not you again. And then just turns to his food and hopes that they don't come near him, honestly. Not you again. Not this again.
Here's a... Hey!
No!
Oh, you two are friends? Oh, good.
No!
He's been around here a while. I hang around
Almost
here.
socked me in the jaw last night.
Oh shit, did I?
Yes!
I-
You were smashed, and you started a fight again, and you almost socked me in the jaw.
Total fairness, I didn't start that one.
You absolutely goated it.
Welcome to the academy. Please take your seats.
Anyway,
not fight.
welcome to Midnight.
Thank you. Yes, welcome to midnight. I like midnight.
Food? Because I'm hungry.
Yes, you look hungry. When was the last time you ate?
I don't know, last night, but I probably puked it up overnight.
I mean solid food.
Welcome to the academy. Please take your seats.
Shit. I don't know.
Okay, sit down. And she's gonna frog march you over to the table where Ransom sits.
No.
And leave you there and go to the bar.
Have you heard of personal space?
Yes, it's what you get when you eat.
Okay. Yes, mother.
The entire time I'm just following them like head in hands, just like, this is what you get.
Ransom's just sitting here wondering what the hell he did to deserve this. She glares at Sandor.
Yes, we're getting food. Whether Sandor wants it or not.
And Lonsdale will begin heading to the bar and just bartering with the barkeep. She doesn't have the most money in the world, and she's going to try and get as much food out of him as she can. Or them. Rather.
Her. So, Soren is a surprisingly awake halfling. Very small, like I said, bright purple hair, kind of ready to go early in the morning. You actually almost have to, like, even though there's no one in here, you have to kind of wave her down a couple times before she stops and finally, like, pulls up and is like, "Oh, hello. Oh, what can I get you?"
Yes, how much is your standard breakfast?
2 coppers person.
How about a large breakfast?
Please take your seats.
6 coppers person.
You said per person. Does that mean that there's a limited amount, or you can just keep eating?
I mean, if you wanted to, lay down like a silver or whatever, I'll just feed you till you burst.
Silver per person, or a silver for the group? There's 4 of us.
Silver for the group. It's cheaper to make it in bulk.
Deal.
And Soren looks over at Sandor and she's like, You're one of my best customers. But, I keep having to pay Linda quite the fee to come haul you out of here.
Yeah, sorry about last night. And, all that. Won't. He pauses, realizing that even if he says it won't happen again, that's probably not true. I will try my best.
I mean, we're making progress. Last night you didn't break a chair, so,
Oh.
No, he just almost broke my jaw.
Yeah, well, occupational
What
hazard.
doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Lonsdale's going to lean into Soren, did you say her name was?
Mm-hmm.
Is that sweet thing a troublemaker?
Sandor?
Yes, the one I bought in. The one that needs
I-
feeding desperately and a change of clothes.
Could you not tell? Yes, the answer is yes, but it's okay. I mean, we get all kinds in here. I'm happy to take in a clearly wayward soul for a couple of days. Especially now that he's not, costing me more than he's bringing in.
Okay. And she'll just nod and go and sit back over. And when she sits down, she's sort of looking at Sandor like Sandor is a project.
Sandor is looking back fairly bleary-eyed and clearly still trying to fully get awake. So what'd you get out of her? Exactly.
All you can eat food.
Seriously?
I'm a good barterer.
Yeah, no shit. Okay.
Apparently.
I like you.
Good. That's a good start. I'd like to have a nice, comfortable relationship. Concentration
Clearly.
face.
Right.
And who might you be?
I'll give you a minute.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Turns to Ransom. And who might you be? Holds out a hand.
Ransom Aloysius.
Ransom Aloysius. That's a beautiful name.
Slightly pretentious, but he knows a lot about the town.
Awesome. It's very nice.
Being
Also
pretentious.
My name is
I'm going
Lons
to
Delight.
ignore the last comment. I'm going to ignore it. You didn't say it. It didn't happen.
My name is Lons Delight, and this is Ipsis. We have been traveling together. We're in the mercenary business.
Possibly a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, I am sure it will be a pleasure.
Time will tell. And it's illogical to be pretentious. I am simply choosy.
Pretentious.
I think you're both being facetious.
And how would you like to describe yourself?
A mess.
Not wrong.
But a hot mess.
Wrong.
To each their own.
And after a few minutes go by, you see this small halfling come back out of the back with kind of these two platters of sausage and eggs, and is there like a pot of coffee and a pot of tea? Hard to say. There's literally like all sorts of stuff. There's some kind of potatoes, there's some kind of like goat cheese, there's some goat milk, all this really hearty food, and kind of very precariously balanced, kind of wobbling into the room, and slides them onto the table very very professionally, and looks at Sandor and says, I didn't spike it this time because I'm gonna save that for later.
All right, fine.
Let's get you something actually in your stomach first. Am I right? And looks over at Lon's Delight.
Yes, I think you have room for plenty of food. Your stomach might have shrunk a little bit, so if it starts to hurt, we'll just have to work through it.
Sure. And you see him kind of dip into his jacket and pull out a flask, and he just kind of gives it a shake.
Oh God. Ransom is gonna try and like stealthily, sneakily grab some of that tea because he doesn't know if this was. They kind of stole his table, but he doesn't know if this whole all-you-can-eat thing includes him. But he wants the tea.
Well, you'll soon know because Lon's Delight will play mum literally and start dishing food out to on plates to everyone.
Ransom
That's
immediately
amazing.
freezes and just stares at this happening, and his expression. It's just equations in front of his face, like trying to figure out what's happening here.
I think you're part of the table. You might as well take what you can get. But I'm gonna eat that one. And Sandor starts just piling his plate.
It's been a few days since we've seen anybody. She gets a little testy if she doesn't have new projects to take upon. She can only do so much for me. She's a giver, but you gotta love her.
That's nice. Thanks, by the way.
You're very welcome. Now, Ransom, Sandor tells us that you know lots about the town. Perhaps you can tell us about some mercenary work. We're getting low on coin.
Work.
Likewise. Obviously, you know that.
Guard short.
I'm not sure how much luck you'll have with finding mercenary work. There are rumors about certain things. There are people that go missing, either on the way here or on the way from here, but town's attitude is a little strange about it, so I doubt you'll find any coin that way.
It's also the mountains. People go missing all the damn time.
True, but it's just... From what I've been able to gather, it's a little odd.
Whatever.
You might suspect that town that they're, if a trading caravan comes through or if a group comes through, they might hire somebody to accompany them down the mountain to prevent the whole missing thing.
Yeah.
There is a work board posted on the wall in Midnight, but it is currently suspiciously empty. There's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
And people do kind of begin to trickle into town, or trickle into the tavern, and including a group of humans who look like they've been traveling for quite a while, and they're kind of stomp the snow off their boots and shake ice out of their cloaks and grab another table.
I use my tail, and my tail is not like a spade, it's plumed kind of like a unicorn, and I point at the workboard. That's the workboard. As you can see, barren. You could maybe get hired to protect travelers if that group is any indication. Might be some luck there. Kelly, could I do that perception check to see threat level of the group that just came in?
Yeah, go for it.
It's perception, we said, right?
Yeah.
Where's roll 20? There it is.
And these are newcomers.
Oh god, that was bad.
All together, right?
The new group is two or three people, or it's like three people that are all kind of clumped together. They're clearly all came in here as a group. They're even wearing very similar clothing. It's very basic, nothing super fancy. Ransom you wouldn't know really sure if they're kind of threatening to you or not, but you would recognize that this looks like the type of group that usually comes here on pilgrimage.
Okay.
You'd have seen a lot of groups like this.
Yeah.
Some of whom have left.
Okay. They look like they're going to be attempting to get to the monastery. Might find some luck with that. Maybe.
What monastery is that up there? Like, what's so important about it?
Well, the temple, from what I understand, it serves all gods, not just one. It's not devoted to any one divine, but all, no matter the alignment, no matter the belief. it's all about the balance, which, logical approach, smart way to go about it. Plus, when a town this small, if you claim allegiance to one god, you might anger another, so can't fault them. Monks tend to help people up and down because otherwise people often go missing.
This sounds perfect. People may not put things on the bulletin board, but I'm sure we could almost take up a make it a full-time
Looks like a
thing,
category
escorting
for
people up
you.
and down the hill.
Unless you end up one of the missing ones. Just saying.
It's not likely.
And we have another raid from Laughlin Lindy.
Welcome, Lindy and Raiders! Oh, hi!
And you see, kind of, as you guys are chatting, you see Soren kind of pop around, bopping through, taking order from that group that just came in. They order much more modest fare, kind of bread and cheese and maybe a hot pot of tea for the whole table. They look like they're kind of settling in, kind of waiting for someone.
What
Might
do
be
you
waiting
figure they're
for
here for?
maybe a monk. I don't know. Probably
Do
a
the
monk.
monks usually travel down to the town often?
Would I know that?
You would know that basically people seem to think that the monks show up when they're needed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of as groups of travelers come down or appear shortly after, usually a monk does, but there's no clear, it's not like there's some kind of messaging system. They just kind of show up.
Almost like there's a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually later that day, maybe the next.
Okay. And do they tend to come like into the town, or do they like wait at the outskirts?
They tend to come straight towards the inn because they know that that's where people are going to be.
Okay. So
They don't really say much, though. You probably haven't actually seen one since you've been here.
okay. From what I've been able to gather and what I've been able to infer, somehow the monks know when people need them, and they do come to the inn. I haven't seen any, but that is how it tends to go.
Sounds kind of bullshit if you ask me.
Maybe. But perhaps we should speak to them. Maybe it takes time out of their praying and they could otherwise outsource their that work to someone like us.
Perhaps. Wait, us?
Ha! Congratulations, you got adopted too. At least she buys breakfast.
Already gone through this once. There's no point in fighting it. Just come along. What else are you doing anyways?
Brooding in the corner, mostly.
That is not what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm observing. It is intelligent and important to observe the beings around you, to ascertain. It would go over your head.
Don't-
Your face?
That is my natural expression.
Don't ever change, Ransom. It's utterly adorable when you sulk in the corner.
You have known me for 15 minutes.
And bought you breakfast.
This
And
is true.
apparently learned all there is to know.
Huh. Oh, dear. You have no idea.
Don't want to either.
Good, it's mutual.
And at that, while Ransom and Sandor are taking a swig of their tea, can everybody roll a perception check for me?
Yes.
For the first roll of the campaign.
I got one better than last time.
I am concentrating
Ransom's
on
not really
these two
living up-
bickering.
Yes, I think Lon's Delight is distracted, making sure that everybody is eating enough. But Ipsis and Sandor, you realize as you're trying to eat that this table is starting to shake. And you get a moment to brace yourself
Oh god. Oh.
Bracing.
before the earthquake.
Oh no.
And you hear the glasses behind the bar tinkering. You notice anything else? You hear this clatter of glass on glass, the shattering of one cup next to another. The table begins to shake, and roll a dex save to see if you all fall to the ground, fall out of your chairs, if you maintain your position.
Eef.
You said dex save, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I get advantage on that, I guess, because barbarian.
Oof.
So that's neat.
Lon's Delight, you just chose the wrong chair, right? And you combine with your weight and the shaking of the chair, it just kind of crumples underneath you, and you hit the ground hard. How do we react?
Well, as soon as we've hit the ground and realize what's happening, we stand up, brush ourselves off.
That was unfortunate.
Yes,
Yeah,
most
I think-
unfortunate.
Has
Sandor-
that happened before?
Rolls
That happened
back.
before.
It has not happened before.
That would be a no.
Yeah, that's new.
And Soren comes careening around the corner back from the back. And it's like,
Whoa. Soren, what's up?
in this town, when the ground starts to shake, there's usually an avalanche
Oh.
that follows shortly after.
Oh.
Everybody
that's
should
true.
probably take cover.
Should we just head
Right.
upstairs, or?
And you see her hide under the bar.
Guess we could hide under the tables.
Is there a basement?
If
Soren,
you go into a basement, you might get buried alive and be unable to dig your way out.
Fair.
Fair.
Can I make an intelligence check really fast to see where the best place to hide would be? Take cover would be?
Sure.
Welcome
Sure.
to the
Great.
academy.
Awesome.
Please
Fantastic.
take your
I might make
Where
a
the heck is-
survival check if that's okay, and see if I can think of something that Scrat can think of.
Oh, can I do a survival check instead?
Yes.
Yay! Oh, yay!
Oh.
oh my god.
Lon's Delight will stand and pick up the table and be like, "Everyone, just block the windows," and put the table against the window.
Sandor will go and start picking up tables to block the windows with.
And these pilgrims that had come in are equally freaked out. They're pretty shaken from what just happened, and they're ready to brace themselves as well, and they try and help.
I'm gonna just real quick reach out and cast guidance on Lon's Delight.
Okay, what does that entail?
So, touch one willing creature once before the spell ends, so I'm concentrating on this for a minute. The target can roll a d4 and add the number to an ability check of choice.
Thank you, Ransom.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this happens, but it happened, so hey. His hands sparkle purple for like 2 seconds. And then he'll help with the tables.
Okay, and so what is Ipsis doing?
I was gonna say, at this point in time, I mean, how heavy are the tables?
I mean, there's a variety of tables in here of
Okay.
varying sizes to accommodate the different patrons.
I was gonna say, she's gonna help with the tables, but also cast Mage Hand to pick up the smaller tables to carry them against other windows and help as well.
And is Sandor doing anything productive?
Yeah, he started grabbing tables after seeing Lon's Delight, so he's just been hefting them and putting them into place against any of the windows. Without very much care for what might be on the tables.
And as you pick up these tables, plates go flying. There's like a smattering of egg on one wall. Somebody else may accidentally slip on some like leftover sausage or something. And everyone rushes to the wall and puts these tables up, holding them against any of the windows, just in time for you to hear the crash of snow and rock hitting the outside of the building. And everyone who's holding something against the window, let's roll strength for me to see how well you stand against this oncoming tide of snow.
Could we use athletics?
Yes.
Awesome.
And you have a d4.
I will add my d4 as well.
Oh god, I did great, guys.
That's a dirty 20.
So Sandor and Lon's Delight, you're able to kind of hold these tables up against the front windows, but Ipsis and Ransom, you are thrown back by the force of this crashing glass, maybe some splintering wall, and that comes ricocheting through the window, and you fall backwards, sliding across the floor. You are protected by these tables, and so you don't take any of the glass to your person, but you are kind of thrown back very heavily. And all of a sudden, it gets quiet and silent, like deathly, painfully silent. The world around you quiets as the avalanche stops.
Damn it. I'm gonna haul myself up.
Yeah, I as well will stand back on my feet.
Or gets to his feet and just kind of brushes off. Well, shit.
Well, we may have
Think
to
we're
dig our...
buried?
I reckon so, Sandor. We may have to dig our way out, but hey, we are safe in here and we have food and ale. So why don't we finish our breakfast and then do it once we've got all of our energy.
Didn't you pick up the table with the food on it?
I paid for all we can eat.
She's right. Soren, you okay?
And you hear a squeak from behind the counter. I'm good. We're all good. Everything's good.
We kept
What
most...
is
Insight
the...
I'm insight checking that.
Sandra's
inside-
gonna go for her.
Everything's good. Everything's okay.
25.
He's just gonna duck behind the bar and look for her. You sure you're
And
all right?
You see this pop of purple come out, and oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Although that was a bad one. We don't like it. Normally doesn't come all the way. Like I'm really worried about town.
Yeah. Has that happened a lot? This avalanche thing?
I mean, normally we get a few avalanches, natural ones that happen in the spring during the snow melt, right? But they just kind of like on the edge of town because the snow's wet. It's why we're all still standing. We haven't had one this bad since in the whole time that I've been here, and I'm like 100.
Are you saying this might not be natural?
Well, I don't know.
Ransom,
you
are you
specifically said
trying...
natural before.
Are you trying to
Huh?
scare this poor person, Ransom?
No.
He's all doom and gloom all the time. It's just kind of his thing.
She just does the big eyebrow raise at you.
So, dig our way out? Is that the plan?
Finish
'Cause-
breakfast, have a drink, dig our way out.
What is the group that was next to us doing while we're having this conversation?
They are kind of standing and they're dusting themselves off. It looks like a couple people may have some cuts from some of the glass flying, but everybody seems pretty okay, just kind of bumped and bruised, and they're clearly shaken and kind of standing in the corner whispering to each other.
I'm gonna go over to the group and just kind of be like, is everyone okay? Does anybody need anything? Is everything all right?
And one of them just kind of steps aside and he looks at you and is just like, I believe we're fine. Just shaken. We came here to wait for our chance to go up the mountain, but now I don't know. The path may be blocked.
Were you waiting for someone in particular or just waiting for your right time?
We are just waiting for our turn. Waiting for the monks. We've all suffered loss recently, and we were hoping to find answers.
And I'll turn back to our group and I'll just kind of say, give me one moment. And I'll walk back to our group and just relay the information that they were waiting for the monks and kind of just look at everybody and ask, so what do we do now besides eat breakfast? I mean, the town might be completely gone. And what of the monastery? What of everything outside?
Sounds like we find a new place to go.
What if we can't? What if we can't get out?
I'm actually curious about the monastery, if I'm being honest.
Sounds to me like we might not have the opportunity to have a good meal for another good long time and to sleep, so we should definitely rest up and worry about that once we have got a good meal in us and rested.
And Soren
You are
comes back.
very single-focused.
I kind of like that about her, to be honest.
I'm not saying it negatively, exactly. It's just an observation.
Your observations often appear negative, Ransom.
That's just how I am.
Told you, doom and gloom.
And Soren
One
comes
of
back
these
from
days.
around the back and she's like, if anybody's talking about food, they're real screwed because the fire is out in the back and all the wood's outside.
Oh, yeah, that is unfortunate.
So, I mean, I can give you some like bread and cheese maybe, but that's all that's all I got.
It's better than nothing.
Oh, I wonder if Birch and Fletcher are okay.
Who?
They're
Oh,
the couple that owns the store across the way. If we're hit, they're buried.
The trading post and the sauna. That's right.
Well, is there a back door? The avalanche hit the front, so it'll be easier to get out the back than it will be the front.
No, yeah, we can. I didn't even think to look about the back. That's a good idea. I immediately went to check on the food.
I like your priorities.
Can I do a detect thoughts on Sandor? Or not Sandor, on, goodness
On
gracious,
Soren.
on Soren, yeah. Good,
Good.
not Sandor, he doesn't care.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Ransom does not care.
Are you doing the standard level?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of automatically get the glean of these surface thoughts of Soren, and there is, again, Soren just keeps thinking about food every time you do this. They're very food focused. Kind of worried about the food. You also get this wave of worry, though. Soren is very clearly worried about the town, worried about what to do next, maybe a little lost.
And as far as I can tell, it's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unfortunate. Back door. And he's just gonna start walking.
Oh, now he's all excited about it. All right.
Never said I wasn't.
Cinder's going to just find a tankard that has survived the clash, if there is in fact one, and take a swig off of it before he follows.
And you can probably find one that's kind of maybe like half spilled. There's probably enough to get the gross
Yep.
bottom out.
Yep, good enough.
And you guys can head out the back door around the back of midnight. You pass through kind of several a long hallway that has several rooms on either side. You pass all the way through the back through the kitchen and out kind of the kitchen door. You do see that the fire is out. One of the side windows in here is broken. There's snow all over the floor. Lon's Delight may notice that it looks like some of the food has been ruined, kind of covered in glass. And you come out the back, and it is fairly clear back here. It looks like the building kind of stopped the snow, and there's this perfect building-sized open area that you're able to walk through. And you can get around to one side and see the snow. You can see that it seems very directed. This avalanche seems like it really carved kind of a path through one part of town. It looks like most of town, where the houses were and stuff, are pretty safe. You can see the smoke from Linda, the half-orc's farm, kind of rising up, and it looks okay. But Ransom, you would know that the building where Birch and Fletch usually are is somewhat buried in the snow.
All right, so question.
Yes.
How would you say Ransom's relationship would be with Birch and Fletch, with his demeanor and how they are?
I think you would probably be suspicious of Fletch, who is he's a guy who knows a guy, right? Fletch is the kind of person who knows who kind of can get whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's why him and his husband are in such good business partners together.
Yeah.
Birch, you may have been more wary of at first, kind of those pinging alarms of this person could do some damage comes out. But you know that Birch is very much the friendlier of the two. He's the front face of the operation and kind of deals with your sass.
Okay, so Ransom actually has some slight positive emotions towards these two, so he's gonna head straight for their building.
What is everyone else doing? How is everyone else feeling?
With a sigh of resignation at the food, Lon's Delight will follow.
Yeah. Following.
Yeah.
Damn, it really is buried. Shit.
At least we are not too buried, though. We got out really easy.
We did, but...
Which means we've got lots of able hands, she says, shouting to everyone else in the bar, to come and help dig out the neighbors. Come on now.
That was loud.
Yeah,
She's-
Sandor, how's your head doing this morning?
Not great. He's had better nights and better mornings, but he's functioning.
She'll knock on Sandor's jerkin or coat where the flask was. Perhaps too much of this.
Hey. Not enough, if you ask me. Are we digging or what?
I'm starting to dig.
And Ransom, you would know exactly kind of where this building is to be able to kind of dig it out. You'll notice, the group of you will notice that the pilgrims came to assist, but Soren did not. Soren stayed behind with the inn. What are you all trying to do? Are you all just digging? Are you digging with your hands? How are we digging?
I think if there's any structures that look like they got damaged or something, like anything that looks like part of the building may have collapsed, Sandor will try to heave that stuff out of the way to get in without having to dig too deep.
Yeah, so you can clearly make out kind of the outline of the roof of this building. It looks like the snow hasn't filled all the way up in all of the places. You might be able to dig down just far enough to find kind of like a broken window.
Okay. Yeah, he'll work on that one spot to just try and get to an opening inside the building.
Lancelot will take a moment to remove her chainmail to make the work lighter. Removing her chainmail, shield, vicious-looking longsword, with lots of spikes and barbs on it. Puts down her heavy padded jerkin under the thing as well. It reveals she's wearing a tight top underneath. It reveals that her skin slowly turns to pink as it goes down her body.
Ombre tiefling.
Tequila sunrise, but in pink and orange.
Is there a broken window or like the snow on the building? Is it like just pressed up against partially, or is it like almost fully covered?
It's there, like there's definitely, like, you can see the roof in spots, and you can see kind of a gap down towards like the top of the windows. I believe that Sandor is kind of digging out the snow by one window that does look like it's been broken in from the pressure. And Sandor, actually, as you dig, you start to hear yelling from the inside. The sounds of male voice just asking for help.
I think I found them. Over here.
Ransom immediately goes over and is going to start helping dig there.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna
why?
climb up.
Honey, I hear somebody. Just relax. Just don't panic. We're in here. A rock came in through the other side, and we can use some help.
Are either of you hurt?
Yeah. Fletch. He took this boulder to the leg, and
It's Ransom. We're going to get you out.
oh, thanks.
Don't sound so shocked.
So did
Should
the
I
two of
shock
you... Sorry, Sandor.
I know everyone.
Like I said, he's been here a while. Let's just keep digging.
So did the two of you just deliberately do this to the town?
Do what?
Do what?
You both know what.
I'm not good at friends. And he just keeps digging.
Look, I came here to have a good time for a couple days.
No,
That's
you
it.
came here to rob people and eat food. And drink.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, a good time.
I've been here for a month. I'm just not a people person.
That's an understatement.
I don't start fights.
I don't start fights either. I just finished them.
Just keeps digging.
Doesn't sound like you stop fights to me. It sounds like the two of you fight all the time.
As soon as there is a space available, I would like to try and squeeze through whatever window broken space there is to try and get into the building, to try and help like them, like get them where they need to be and push like from the outside to help even more if I can.
Roll acrobatics to see if you can slide in past this broken glass without hurting yourself.
Do you say acrobatics?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you slide through the window. You maybe get kind of a piece of glass kind of scrapes maybe up one leg. It's very uncomfortable, but not extremely inconvenient. But you are bleeding a little bit. And you get into this room and you see just kind of destruction in this general store. There's it looks like the far wall that you guys did not come across has kind of begun to cave in. There's some rocks from this avalanche kind of in the middle of the store. Everything is covered in snow and is kind of knocked off of shelves, and you see these two men in the middle, one whose leg is trapped kind of under this rock, and the other who's kind of has his head in his lap.
Oh, geez.
How bad is it?
It's pretty bad. It's definitely out of my control. Somebody who can heal or get this boulder off of him is highly recommended. I'm going to look for other ways to try and dig a bigger hole to get everybody else in. And
How
can I
big's
do?
the rock?
How big is the rock?
It's like table sized. It's not something that one like regular person would easily be able to move on their own. But it looks movable in theory.
If a couple of us were to come down here and try to move it, we definitely could, but not just me alone. This is way too big for me.
Perfect.
And can I
Teamwork's
do?
just what we need.
Sandor will just look at Lance Delight and just kind of give a nod like, we doing this?
Ransom's gonna slide down while they're doing that.
Let's go, come on.
Okay.
And Ransom and Sandor, if you, after you've dug out this window a little bit more, you're able to slide in through. Lon's Delight, with your larger frame, this is a bit of a squeeze, and you might take a glass shard to the shoulder or something coming through. Again, it's not enough to really bother you, but it might need to be stitched up later. And you're able to get in and you see the same thing in this room, and you hear Birch is just, please help us.
I'm gonna walk right over and then kind of drop to my knees beside them. Could I do a medicine check to see if it would be wiser to try a healing spell before or after it's moved?
Sure.
Would that be medicine check or wisdom check, or what would that be?
Medicine.
Okay. Ouch.
You're not sure. It's hard to say, but I'll give you that his leg looks pretty crushed. It's pretty thoroughly trapped underneath this rock.
Well, should we remove the rock?
Yeah.
Does he look like he needs a spare the dying, or is he
Not quite yet. He seems passed out,
Okay.
but he's not like cold sweats kind of passed out yet.
Okay.
Um,
I'd say move the rock before I try to heal him but carefully, because it might shift the building. I don't want him awake when it's pulled off of him.
and Birch is there.
Alrighty.
And Birch is there, and he's just like, I tried to move it. I really did, but I couldn't get a grip, and
You tried?
yeah.
And he just looks at the rock and looks at Birch. Hang on a minute. Shall we? He gives Lance Delight a look. It braces against one side of the rock.
I go down to the other side. Ransom, why don't you go next to Sandor?
You're enjoying this, but he does it anyway.
And I'll go up right next to Lancelot.
Okay, let's give me a group strength check
Again, can
or
we...
athletics.
Thank you.
Oop.
Hey, not bad.
Ooh,
Oh!
I rolled awful.
How did I do better than the 2 physical fights?
No, this makes so much sense.
It's,
Because I'm
I guess Ransom is buff, y'all.
trying to show up. Or that's what it is.
And so Sandor and Lon's Delight, you just happened to kind of picked the more precarious spots on this boulder to try and pick it up. But your feet are sliding on stuff, on clothes and broken glass that has fallen off these shelves, so you can't really get purchase on the ground to get your hands under this to really chuck it off. However, Ipsis and Ransom, they get just enough movement that you're able to actually kind of get up and under it and roll it almost away to get it, and it crashes through some shelves, kind of knocks stuff down off the wall. You kind of destroyed some more merchandise trying to do this, but you have freed Fletch from under the rock.
Things can be replaced. He kneels down and he's gonna take a look at Fletch and I'm just gonna cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
So 9 healing.
And you're able to this leg is pretty well damaged, but you are able to heal big chunks of it. It still looks like it's going to need quite a bit of medical attention afterwards, but Fletch begins to kind of stabilize, and you see him kind of wake up. And he's just like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much for your assistance. I don't know what we would do. The store is destroyed.
Things can be replaced, people can't.
Oh, you are so true. You're so right.
I'm always right.
It's a very macabre way of saying that life is precious, Ransom.
You have met me. And he just stands up.
Concentration face again.
Sandor's just kind of going to start walking around the space and sort of kicking stuff aside with his boot and just see what's survived in here on the shelves and things.
There's a lot of like gear, like ropes and pythons and snowshoes and warm clothes. Those kinds of things seem to have survived. They may be dirty or damp from the snow that's beginning to melt from being inside a little bit, but it's they're in good shape. The things that are mostly destroyed are the actual kind of shelving units in the store and the signage. And Birch goes, oh, thank you so much, you guys. I don't know how to thank you. If you can help me get him, did the inn survive?
The inn
Is
survived.
the night okay? Oh, if you can help me get, I'm sure Soren will be able to help finish putting this leg back together. If you guys could help us get out of here, you guys can have whatever you want. I mean, we don't have anything too fancy here, but it's enough to keep you warm and to keep you dry.
Shush,
Here.
shush, shush.
He tosses the coat that he had picked up and was kind of shaking out, that seems to be relatively dry still, over to Fletch and Birch to like cover him up. Get warm. Let's carry him over.
We should dig out the entrance first. I cut myself on the way in. We won't be able to carry him out.
Oh, the window? I got it. He'll just go over and take one of his swords, sheath and all, and start bashing out the rest of the glass to clean up the exit that we have.
How artfully does Sandor do this? Is it kind of all brawn, or is there like at least enough trying to make sure the glass like falls in?
He's trying to make sure the glass falls in. Not pure brawn.
and you're able to clear out kind of the edges of this window and leave a pretty good gap. You do hear some creaking of the building around you. However, it begins to kind of shake a little bit under the pressure on the walls. But Birch and Fletch they're a mess. They're emotional. They're kind of like holding each other and kind of crying in the corner, and they're just so thankful for you guys. And it's like, I don't know what we would have done without you. You saved him. You saved both of us.
Guys, we better hurry.
I'm gonna grab a bunch of winter cloaks, use a couple of them to kind of go under Fletch to kind of make a makeshift stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at Lon's Delight and Sandor. Can you take him?
Yep.
Isn't this nice
Windows
when we're
open.
all working together?
Oh god.
While they are putting him on the makeshift stretcher, Ipsis is definitely stealing a pair of snowshoes and like shoving them like in her backpack.
Ransom definitely kept one of the winter coats. Definitely.
And so the three of you that are doing the team building exercise are able to start kind of bringing him up and out. Birch kind of helping you guide through the window to get Fletch out of the building. But Ipsis, you're staying behind, kind of looking through the stuff while they're doing these things. And you notice a weird light left over in the store. It's coming from one wall, maybe behind a shelf that's still there.
Hold on a second, and I'll kind of cautiously like walk towards the light. What color is it? Is it super bright? Does it look like a pinpoint, or is it like an illumination?
It looks like almost like light shining through a window, but there's no window back there. Like it looks like daylight.
I'm gonna try and peek up around it. Is it? You said it's behind a shelf.
Yes.
I'm gonna try and peek over.
Yeah, as you kind of raise your eyes over, you see this glowing light, this window of daylight. And through it, you see sand. And as you're looking through this light and this sandy dunes, it begins to hail where you're looking, with this ice coming down from the sky, crashing into the sand, which bubbles up in these dusty spurts. Even though it looks hot, and as the ice hits the ground, it sizzles and melts. And then this light that you're looking at, this crack, snaps shut. And
I'm just gonna quietly duck down as I see it shut.
And Sandor and Ransom and Lon's Delight, you've managed to get these two men up and out. And Ipsis, you are able to run and catch up to them if you wish.
Yeah.
I would have waited by the window for Ipsis, just to make sure she actually gets out.
Yeah, I'll scurry up and come out the window.
You all right?
Yeah, I think, I'd rather talk about it when we get back to the inn. Let's get back to the inn.
Certainly. Smarter not to tell it more than once, then he'll start walking.
If Sandor and Lon's Delight have been given a moment alone to carry the stretcher, Lon's Delight's going to be bombarding Sandor with questions.
Yeah, so I think actually Lon's Delight and Sandor, you've walked ahead with the stretcher. Birch is with you, but he's clearly distracted, kind of whispering to Fletch, making sure that he's okay, taking care of him. So what kind of questions do you pepper Sandor with?
So Sandor, you and Ransom, you argue often.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not as often as I'd like, and way more often than he'd like.
You've known each other for a long time then?
Not in the least.
How did you come to meet one another?
I don't know, he was brooding in the corner, same as when he met you.
And you were getting drunk and causing a riot?
Yes to the first, no to the second, but I was involved in one.
Do you think there might be a common denominator to these riots?
Look, if you're trying to imply that it was me, that's only sometimes.
I'm not implying anything. You're just... But you can
Listen.
feel free to speak whatever however you feel. You can speak to me. It's okay.
Hey, I got on really well with this one guy that was there, and then some other asshole came around and started hassling him, so I told him to back off, and then it turned into a whole damn thing.
So you're protective. That's a good trait.
Well, I mean, it's gonna kind of ruin our night, so yeah.
See, that's a good motivation to do a bad thing. We can use that to also motivate you to be nicer as well. Okay, bear with me. There are non-combative ways of resolving a conflict.
Wow, you sound like my dad. He just cringes and kind of has this 1,000-yard stare in the direction of the inn as they walk. Okay, I'm being punished. That's what's happening. Yep. Wow, didn't think it would catch up fast.
Just carry on with more questions. Why is it that you carry two swords?
Because I used 2 of them?
Hmm.
2's better than 1.
Well,
Hit him twice. It's way more nice. I don't know.
no, my trainer taught me that if you learn to use a sword properly, then you never need more than 1.
You haven't seen me use a sword.
I hope to sometime soon. And I don't mean that like I want to have a fight. Don't try and start another riot again.
I don't have a reason to fight you. You fed me.
Good. So you also have morals.
Sure, I guess.
We're gonna get on just fine.
Great, cool. You're still gonna feed me, right? Because it's broke as shit.
Only when you're good.
Okay.
And you guys make it back to the inn, but Ipsis, while you've been walking, what have you been doing? Have you been focused? What have you been up to? Been thinking?
Ipsis has been quiet, kind of more reserved, kind of looking down towards the snow, just like looking off, but looking down, not really paying much attention to the group or anything. Just trying to make sense of what it could have meant and what it could have been. Just following right behind Ransom, just kind of trailing off in the back.
And Ipsis and Ransom, as the 2 of them with the stretcher kind of head in front of you into the inn, you feel like it's suddenly very, very warm. Ransom, especially if you put on that coat that you grabbed.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at Ipsis, as you're looking at the ground, the snow beneath you almost seems like it's already melting, even though it was freezing cold out before. And it's just warm enough to be kind of like surprising, like that was a dramatic shift in temperature, but it's not like it's blazing hot. But it's odd.
I will immediately kind of look up and just kind of wide-eyed for a moment and then start like kind of moving faster. Once I get up to Ransom, I'm going to be behind Ransom kind of pushing and just be like, we gotta go. We gotta get to the end.
I'm moving.
And I'm going to try and run up to where they have the stretcher and just tell them we gotta move. Gotta get to the end as fast as we can.
I just keep pace with her. Is it just me, or is it warming up drastically? And he like takes off the cloak, hangs it over his arm.
And I'm gonna scream back, that's why we need to get to the inn right now.
I'm right next to you. You don't have to shout.
And Sandor and Landslides, you're starting to notice this too, that it's like layers that you were wearing seem like too much. It's like you just did a ton of physical exercise and you're out in the cold, like you're sweating a little bit, but you didn't really do that much. It's kind of delayed onset to be from what you were just doing before.
Guess we should go. Picking up the pace.
Yes, come on.
So I think if Sandor's he's probably got the front end of the stretcher, so he's just gonna start jogging ahead to catch up to the others.
And you guys are able to make it back to the back around midnight, back through the front door. But as you get closer and closer, you notice that midnight isn't buried as much as it was before. Some of the snow is definitely gone, going away. And you're able to come in through the back, through the kitchen, through the rooms, back to the main room. And it looks like Soren has done a lot of cleaning up. Like a lot of cleaning up. It's insane how much progress has been made in this hour that you guys have been gone. The bar is pretty clear. All the tables are righted. There's still kind of snow and glass from the windows, but it looks like everything's been swept into the corner. It's almost like you could sit down and get back to eating. And you are back in midnight.
Yeah, they'll burst on in with their burden on the stretcher. Soren, we've got Fletch and Birch. You got a place we can put them?
And you hear kind of from another room kind of, oh, you can just put them in any of the rooms in the back of the inn. We're pretty empty at the moment. I set up some of the pilgrims in one of the other ones.
All right. He'll
Good
just
to-
kick a door in and go.
Yeah, and there's a room here. There's a comfortable bed. There's a wash basin. Birch looks at you and just says, "Thank you. Once we've had some time, I'm sure once the other townsfolk come out to begin to help, we'll take him we'll get the healer to come by. You know,
Yeah, sure.
Warren might be able to help too."
Well, you rest well, Birch.
Yeah. Take care of that leg.
As we leave, Lonsdaleite will lean into Sandor. Did you hear her say that they're pretty empty at the moment? That means they're desperate to sell their rooms. That's how you bought them.
As they're leaving, Ransom's just gonna pause and look at Birch and Fletch. If he starts going into shock, yell for me if I'm still here. If not, get the healer as soon as possible. And he's gonna
Okay, thank you.
leave.
Ipsis at this point has just kind of found a table and is just kind of sat down and is just looking around. And once everybody kind of filters back in, she's going to motion everybody to like come sit so she can tell them what happened.
Sure.
And what does that conversation look like?
So, you may not believe me, but when you guys were taking out Bert and Fletch, I looked back to grab some snowshoes and I saw a light, so I went towards the light and it was a window. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a window or a portal or a rift, but there was sand and it was warm and I've never recognized it. I've never seen the place, to be quite honest, but then all of a sudden it started to hail and it was just, as soon as it would hit the sand, it would just burst and boil and melt, and all of a sudden it started to get warm and I got nervous and I just didn't want anything else to happen before we were safely inside. So please tell me I'm not crazy and that I saw something important, because I really don't know what it was, and I'm really starting to question my own sanity about it because this place is freaking me out.
So, that's weird.
Questioning your own sanity in such a point is logical, but I don't think you're crazy.
Ransom, we could really work on your tone when you're telling people these things. Ipsis is having a crisis.
I just told her I didn't think she's crazy.
Tone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
This is my voice. This is how I am.
Try smiling when you talk. Maybe not. That was scary.
Good.
It's a good start.
Okay, so weird rift window magic bullshit happened.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. I saw a light. It was behind a bookshelf. I peeked over the bookshelf. That's what I saw. And as soon as it started to hail, it just shut. It snapped shut. And it was gone. And I turned around and I followed you all back out.
Okay, well, you look more sober than I feel, so that's definitely not it.
And you've been an invaluable companion on the road, Ipsis. I do not think you are going crazy.
Personally, you just seem like somebody who's in full control of their faculties to me, so... Plus, I felt the heat suddenly shift out there. That's not natural.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
You say you see a desert, and then it suddenly starts warming up. That's
As soon as they start talking about that, can I go to the window and pull off like one of the smaller tables to see what it looks like outside now?
As you're going to do that, Ransom, you actually notice that there's water dripping from the ceiling. One of the places where the ceiling was, it's just like a drip, 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 like a leaky roof in a storm.
gonna step back and away a little bit, and I'm gonna...
And Ipsis, as you look outside, you see that it's still warm outside. The snow is melting. There's a lot of, like, you could probably open the front door.
What is going on?
Remember when I asked if she thought the avalanche was not natural? And you guys just said doom and gloom. This seems unnatural. I realize that I'm doom and gloom, but...
It's not the doom and gloom that bothers us, Ransom. We just want to know why you're so angry.
Oh my god.
And so shouty, could you stop?
No, because it bothers you.
Where is Soren at this moment?
Haven't seen her in a few minutes. You hear some rustling and bustling noise in the back, so you could probably assume she's probably back there somewhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at Landslides, and I'm not angry. Irritated, mainly. Apathetic, probably. Not angry.
Well, you present angry.
Anyway.
Okay, so it's getting to be hot as fuck outside for no apparent reason. There's been an avalanche. I don't have enough alcohol in this coffee. What is going on today?
And Ransom, that dripping of water from the ceiling has stopped. It's not dripping like it's melting anymore, and instead there's an icicle forming as the water it freezes as it drips down.
Guys.
And through this now open window, Ipsis, you feel the temperature that it's getting colder again.
This has never happened. And
No.
I'll turn to Ransom.
I've been here a month. This has never happened.
Earthquake?
Sure, the town has its quirks, but this is something else.
Earthquake?
Avalanche.
Avalanche?
Heat wave.
Well, strange light thing.
Strange
Heatwave.
light. Heat wave. Flash freeze.
Why don't we go and try and speak to one of the monks? Maybe they know something.
You want to go up to the monastery?
Weren't there monks staying here?
No, they show up when the pilgrims do, generally. And the pilgrims are here.
So monks shouldn't be far behind, right?
Hopefully, unless the avalanche, took them out. Not even trying to be doom and gloom here, just pointing it out. It's possible.
No, that was very good. Your tone was much better. Thank you.
Why was I trying to please you? I don't... no.
She has that effect, apparently.
Ugh.
Okay, so what? Are we gonna go see some monks or something?
I mean...
I feel like that might be our only option. Or
Ooh.
direction.
I just remembered something.
Huh?
Again, been here a while, seen a lot, know a lot. Sometimes travelers have brought stories of things like this. Extreme weather, stories of storms that happened when they shouldn't have, in the wrong seasons. It's happened, if according to the travelers, but I don't think here.
Okay, then before we go, claps our hands together, let's go and take a seat, have a nice sit down, and have a proper conversation about it.
Oh god.
And as you say this, Soren kind of pops back up from the back. And actually behind her are Birch and Fletch. Fletch is walking.
Uh.
And they're kind of Soren has all sorts of food, mostly kind of like cold meal kind of stuff. Again, bread and cheese, that sort of thing, and is kind of setting them up at a table, and has brought some out for you as well.
See, and lunch right on time.
Fletch, you're much better.
Are you not used to healers' work, Ransom?
Didn't see the healer come in.
And Soren kind of lays all this food out in front of you, and she's just like, "Can I get you anything else? I mean, there's not a whole lot I can get you, but I mean, it looks like I can go outside and get the wood now."
Come on, Soren.
What? You mean this weird weather shit? I have no idea, but I'm gonna roll with it while I got it, right? I don't know when the next time it's gonna start snowing or hailing or whatever.
Great. Do you have anything of alcoholic persuasion in the back so I can kill this headache?
Yeah,
I'll get a new one tomorrow.
It's par for the course, right? Kind of gives a look to Ransom. Yeah, no, I got something. I got some ale or something. I'm gonna bring you something.
Thank you.
But maybe just a half.
Well, we'll start small. It is like noon. Although,
Yeah.
it's midnight here. So.
Got to keep your wits sharp when there's potentially occult stuff happening, Sandor.
My wits are always sharp. Don't worry.
I wasn't.
I have doubts.
And Soren pops to the back and comes back up with a pint of ale.
To his credit, he doesn't down it immediately. He does take time with it.
And she goes, "Yeah, well, so, Birch and Fletcher back up, and apparently we have you guys to thank for that. So, obviously lunch is on the house. The least I can do."
Thank you.
No, I insist that we pay. You just had
I
all
mean,
of your windows broken.
fine.
You have a business to run. You cannot afford to be so generous.
Oh, I mean, thanks. I've got a nice little savings nest here, but I do appreciate it. God only knows when the next kind of emergency might happen.
Exactly.
Hey, do whatever you want. It's your money.
Free copper.
Real quick, I'm just gonna check that my coin purse is still there since I've been in Sandor's company for extended a period of time.
He is not a pickpocket.
Ransom doesn't trust that.
He straight up would not be able to successfully pickpocket anyone, I guarantee it.
Ipsis, how are you feeling right now?
Conflicted. Mostly, like, Ipsis is very naive in a sense that she's seen some shit, but, like, arcane mastery or things of, like, an arcane nature is still kind of new to her, even with what she's able to do. She's not quite responsible with it, so she doesn't really understand. So she's just trying to consciously put pieces to a puzzle that she's not sure what the picture is yet. But she's just she's sitting at the table, kind of just, eating slowly, drinking a little bit here and there, just kind of listening to everybody's conversation at the moment.
Lon's Delight will be pushing a lot of carbs Ipsis's way.
And I just eat it. I don't even question it at this point. I just eat whatever's in front of me.
I'm a habit after traveling together at this point.
Pretty much. So, obviously something's happening. Whether the traveling stories you've heard, Ransom, are true, or the townsfolk saying that this doesn't happen often, there's definitely something happening here and happening now. And I'm not quite sure if the monastery is where we need to start, but we've got to start somewhere.
I agree. Oh god, I just agreed to a we.
We could
Oh,
also
no.
look around
Oh.
town.
That's true. We could ask around and see if anybody else has heard or seen anything weird, if any other portals or whatever they are have opened, if maybe that's at least something that can link it together.
And there's a healer in town, so the wise folk are usually clued into things.
The
True.
people of Dawn kind of ignore all the strange happenings. They barely even talk about them. I don't know if we'll get anything out of them.
I mean, all we can do is try, I guess. We don't have much else to work off of besides weird weather and a portal.
And you guys see Flesh over in the corner, kind of stretching out his leg, looking at it appreciatively, and it looks totally fine.
I want to go up to him and kind of look at him. Your leg's really impressive.
Oh, yes. Soren is a master worker.
So Soren did this.
Yes. Soren has many gifts. Her cooking is only one of them.
Interesting. I'll turn to Soren. So, the monastery. We've heard of a little bit, but is there anything else you could tell us? Anything you haven't said already, or anything that might point to if the gods or them themselves are responsible for this weird weather? Do you think that would be a good place to start off with some questions?
And Soren kind of sits on, she actually kind of climbs up on the counter of the bar and is sitting there kind of cleaning a glass, kind of wiggling her feet back and forth. And she's kind of like, well, I mean, there's a lot of mystery about the monastery, you guys. Like, there's rumors that the gods themselves live up there. You know, we've just kind of learned to take it as it comes. But I gotta tell you, trying to get up there without a guide, it is not for the faint of heart. Most of the time, the pilgrims end up buying out Birch and Fletch's before they head up, just to make sure that they're supplied well enough. They say it's 1,000 steps all the way up to the top, and I think that's an underestimate. But they seem to know things, I guess. I mean, they always know when somebody's down here waiting.
So, how do they know?
Oh, I don't know. They just...
And I'll go and turn around and just sit back down.
Ransom, did you want to ask a question or say something? Or check?
While Ipsis was having that conversation, Ransom wants to do a deep thoughts check on Soren.
Okay. So when you do the initial check, kind of that first glance, what you get is more about food.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be always on Soren's mind, some way or another, is something about food. This time it's maybe about being hungry. And if you want to roll that intelligence for me, and for those, to see if you are able to get anything else.
Not bad. Not great, not bad.
And you are not. But instead, what happens is Soren kind of stops mid-conversation with Ipsis and looks over to you directly and just kind of smiles and winks and turns back to the conversation.
Ransom's suspicion level has raised. That's unnatural.
Sori's just going on, and she's like, I mean, there's the thing about the lake that nobody really talks about, which is a little weird, and there's the whole monks thing is a little weird, and this weather thing is like a new thing that's kind of weird. And there's like weird people always popping in here, like the two of them. She gestures over to Ransom and Sandor. There's just a lot of weird, and usually the weird people end up finding the monks at some point or another, or the monks find them. The monks have definitely shown up for people that weren't looking for them before.
What's going on with the lakes? That's new.
Oh, Mirror Lake, the big one. It's all ice water. I mean, it's all snow melt, but the thing doesn't freeze. Nobody ever really goes out there, there's no fish in it because snow melts. It's basically snow melting into a big hole.
Heard that too.
But
Do
we
you
just kind
think-
of avoid it.
Okay. And at that, Ipsis will kind of detach herself from the conversation and go sit back down.
Ransom's gonna lean forward a little bit. Did you notice when she looked at me?
Would I have noticed?
Yeah, since you were talking to her, you would have noticed the pause and the wink. You wouldn't have noticed that it was directed at Ransom.
Okay.
But you would have known that she was gesturing to someone in the room.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I noticed her kind of like fade out for a second and wink, I think. Did she wink at you?
I have a certain talent for fishing out secrets. There's a reason I'm always so well informed. I tried to use it on her while she was distracted with you. And that wink was my result. She's keeping secrets.
At that point,
I was saying that very quietly. Just enough for these people to hear.
do you think she's hiding something malicious, or do you think she's toying with us?
That I am honestly unsure, and I don't like not knowing. God, I hate not knowing.
Welcome to the academy. Please take your seats.
What do you think we should do? I don't want to make a scene. She's so
No.
well trusted.
Scene is not the answer to it. I think we leave it for now, but keep an eye. If we stay, oh God, we again!
Should we even stay here? Now I don't even feel safe.
I suppose that's up to the group, and he's gonna look at Lawn's Delight and Sandor, and there's this expression of like, just expression of, I can't believe that this is where I've ended up.
Do you all trust this place? Do you all want to stay here or traverse, or what's our next plan of attack? Where should we go?
Trust is an interesting word. No,
Fair.
not really. I wasn't planning on staying here for very long anyway. It just sort of happened.
I had hoped to disappear here, but apparently that is no longer an option.
Well, it would only be right to try and help people out, right? Try and resolve the issues.
Resolve weird fucking weather? What are we supposed to do?
But there's always a cause to these things. Find
Yeah, it's
it, slay the demon, pull the wizard out of the tower, find the invading army of necromantic wizards and sorcerers who are invading and take them out systematically by destroying their government system or something. There's always a way.
Is that like a thing you do?
How many situations like that have you been in?
What he said.
Sips her tea.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Ransom just has this expression of
Okay. So that was hyper specific in a way I don't like.
I'm uncomfortable with it as well, and I hate being in agreement with you.
Look at you two
It's
getting
okay.
along.
Yeah, no, it's good. You're starting to come around. I have a chance. That's cool. But back to the solving this weird ass weather situation. It's not really our problem. Other than to get out of here, right? Also, if Soren is like winking at you in weird ways, I don't know, maybe she just wants you to come to her room at night. Who the hell cares?
No. She did it specifically after I used that little trick of mine. She knew I was doing it.
Okay.
That's not good.
So you sneak a peek inside her head, she noticed and winked at you.
Yes, after blocking me.
Well,
Shit.
if you're reading minds, is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah,
Mm.
he's kind of intrusive like that.
That's very intrusive. She probably blocked you because you were doing it without consent. We should talk about that.
Blocked and unfollowed.
He just takes a very long drink of his tea and is now ignoring them both.
Someone just clip
Ipsis is
that.
clearly
just-
the only one he can deal with right now. And he looks at her kind of pleadingly.
All right.
Okay. And she's just kind of gonna, once again, kind of have a loss for words and just kind of look down, not knowing what the right option is at the moment and not wanting to be the one to decide.
So, if we're gonna slay a thing that's making the weather pissed off at us, where do we start?
Finding it.
I was gonna say, I don't think we want to fight anything. I think we just want to figure out what's going on first and if we can even stop it.
All we
Okay.
need to do is stick around. I promise you that just by sticking around, something will happen that makes us all go, huh, that's what we need to check out. It always does. Things always work themselves out if you just stay patient and determined.
Or you can hunt down whatever's doing the strange. And suss out all options. Just putting that out there.
And how do you propose that we hunt the weather?
Not hunting the weather, we're hunting what's causing it. Follow a magic trail. First you have to find the magic trail, but clearly there's something, seeing as this one saw a portal.
Good.
Cool. Well, you seem to know magic, so why don't you do magic shit and show us what it is?
I
Why
don't think
don't
it quite works like that.
Why don't we
We need
take
to be-
Ransom down to the hut where you found the magic, and Ransom can do this magic trail thing that they know about?
I'm not entirely sure going back into that building is safe. It was swaying something terrible, but maybe just from the outside of it I could glean something. Maybe.
Probably hold it up for a little while.
We'll protect you, Ransom.
I'm not even going to dignify that.
Wouldn't hurt to have you owe me a favor.
I feel like that's all we're
I
going to be
don't
doing
do
is just owing
favors.
each other favors.
Not sure that's the grounds for a healthy relationship, but it's better than socking each other in the jaw. Let's
I
go.
have
I
never
said
thrown a
that was
punch at him.
accident.
I have never thrown a punch at him. I have never touched him.
Come on now,
And I
Sandra.
will never touch him.
That hurt my feelings.
I'm glad.
And I believe you all are out of food. Sandor, at this point, you've been long out of that half a pint.
He's just sort of, well, I guess we're done. Shall we investigate the weird house?
I suppose.
At least try to go back there as close as we can. Hopefully that building hasn't fallen, or at least won't fall on us while we're there. But there's got to be these other things popping up in other places. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's true. We should keep a watch out for other magical occurrences going on in the town.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure, I'll turn on my magic senses.
That's what Ransom's
I'm pretty
for.
sure even you would notice a portal opening in front of you. You might fall into it, but at least you'd notice it.
Now, Ransom, we're all very impressed by your magical prowess. Come on.
Never said it was magical prowess, just said that I could try it, to be fair. I'm just stating that he's unobservant.
Yes, dear. Come on.
Ugh.
And I imagine at this point, Lancelot has kind of stood up from the table and is kind of like, up, children, up.
Fandor gets up to his feet and just turns the chair back around because he definitely had it on turned around backwards to sit in.
Oh, definitely.
Ransom gets up, carefully avoiding being touched by anybody.
And as you guys kind of head out the front door, Soren has hopped off the counter and is kind of continuing to clean up and gives you guys a wave. And she's like, feel free to come back. Happy to have you. You know, we'll be here all day and all night.
Always midnight, right?
You're getting it. And you you head out the front door and you kind of start making your way back across the street towards the general store, and you realize that the snow has kind of returned to the level it was at when you first arrived. There's definitely snow on the ground, but it's not like you're wading through the remains of an avalanche anymore.
I have a thought.
Can I make a nature check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you testing a hypothesis with this nature check, or?
I just want to see if the disappearance of the snow seems natural. And I don't mean like, hey, avalanche happens and then disappears shortly after. I don't mean that kind of natural. I just mean like, did it happen at all?
Oh.
Okay.
I can see the snowflakes. I can tell the individual ones.
In fact, if you were to count the snowflakes, you would see that there are a different number of them than there were previously. The landscape does not clearly match. Actually, if you look off into the woods, you can see some places where maybe some trees have been downed. There's rocks that have been moved. If you look up towards the mountain, you see the evidence of a rock slide. So it looks like this avalanche happened, but it looks like the snow has now kind of mostly melted away.
So even though it was like super fast, it melted naturally. It didn't just disappear. Okay.
No,
Which is basically what
just
evaporation
poof.
is, but yeah.
Yeah. it didn't magically poof. It scientifically poofed.
But the science could have been was probably caused by magic.
And in fact, if you look behind you, the lake seems to be fuller. And you see kind of trickles of water kind of coming down still from places where the snow melt is rolling into the lake.
Well, Ransom, are you getting any magic trails out here?
I'm gonna do an Arcana check and see if I can sense any sort of leftover magic. It's not what I'm best at, but
Okay.
it's a theory. Or is there anything that I could do that I would actually be good at with this? Let's see. Could I insight the magic?
No.
Dang it. Okay.
Is the magic trustworthy?
I am gonna use my reroll.
Okay.
Yes!
Holy.
My DM self is unprepared for this. Okay, so
Know all the magic.
Suddenly I know every spell on the cleric spell list.
suddenly you can count the wild magic in the air. What? So what you get from this is something magical has definitely occurred. You feel like there's remnants in the air, that maybe it wasn't just this temperature change that was magical, but also that you're able to combine kind of your knowledge of the world and the knowledge of magic, and you know that there's really not like a very comfortable fault line here, so the idea that there has been and is earthquakes here seems magical as well to you.
Okay.
But you don't so you know that those things are magical. You don't get the sense that they're targeted magic.
Okay.
It's not like someone is doing this to this place.
Okay.
It's just something that is happening due to magical effects.
Okay. Is there any kind of like magical signature so that I'd maybe be able to recognize this if I ran into it again?
I'll say that these kind of secondary magical effects, you could probably recognize them a little bit easier.
Okay.
When they happen, because of that nat 20.
Okay. Awesome.
But there's not like a signature per se, because it doesn't seem like it's coming from a particular individual that's causing this.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. This is interesting, actually. I don't think it's targeted. I think it's an effect. I think it's almost like something magical is happening somewhere and this place is just being affected. Not necessarily someone is causing this intentionally, it's just occurring. There's not... Nothing about it is quite right. The earthquake isn't right. It's not... I'd recognize this if I ran into it again, I think. But I don't... It's not something that was cast intentionally. I don't think. From what I can feel.
So nature, but weirder.
Magic, definitely. Magic affecting the nature here, but the source is uncertain and possibly not a person, if I'm interpreting this correctly. Perhaps it's almost like, I don't know, a curse on the land.
There you go with the doom and gloom again.
Or maybe there's a weakening of the veil between worlds, or perhaps a god is trying to rise. I don't know, it could be anything. But those are my likely theories. Wait. You saw a portal to somewhere else.
I did.
Weakness,
I just don't.
Weakness between veils. Perhaps. That one now has more credence.
But I don't know where it was. I just saw sand and then a hailstorm.
The where might be irrelevant. The fact that it occurred might be all that's important.
Fair enough.
Okay, so what do we do?
That's a good question. So are you guys still going to head to the the store to see what was going on, to see if you can get any more information, or no?
Do you feel like we would need to go back to the store, or do you think we should try and maybe follow this magic trail somewhere else?
I don't know if I can exactly follow it because it's widespread, is the thing, and I don't think the store is going to exactly help.
So while we just wander around until we find another one of those cracks in reality. I can't fucking believe I'm saying this.
What do you think, Landslides?
Well, we either have the option of trying to find more cracks in reality, or focusing on the people that we know to be magical or particularly religious. We haven't
So
been
the
inside the house yet, have we? There could be more in there.
Well, anyway, there was some shit and gear inside the shop that might be useful if we're gonna make a hike up the mountain. Might as well go to get it.
That's true.
I suppose, as long as we're careful. They did say we could take whatever we needed.
They seem pretty desperate.
So, to the store to loot the store?
But that's just the thing. They kind of didn't seem desperate, did they? When we were at the inn, when they walked out, they were almost in high spirits. Despite the fact that one of them just had a traumatic injury.
They've been healed. It's always slightly euphoric when you're on painkillers.
Not for me.
I mean,
That sounds like a you problem. Xander's gonna start walking to the shop.
I can't wait for your next hangover.
Why? You're never gonna help me with him.
Exactly.
And as you keep walking towards the shop, it's not very far away. You're able to get there pretty quickly. You see that the building is still standing, and it seems stable enough from the outside. You're able to get in if you want to go in, but as you get closer, you feel wind almost at your backs.
Like we're being pushed?
Not really, just like the wind is blowing from behind you. And as you turn around and face back, you see the inn. You see midnight framed by the lake behind it. And you see in the sky this crack with light shining through that begins to peel open.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
a crack in reality. There it is.
See,
I could infer as much.
and you see behind it this spinning tornado ripping through a forest.
I think we should get inside.
The wind from it.
That's not what I saw inside of the other one.
I
That
think
is
we should
not
get
what I
inside.
saw.
I really think we should get inside.
And the
That's-
crack snaps back shut.
Ransom's
The
gonna
wind.
start like ushering them just towards it anyway, just because he doesn't like that at all.
Ransom, you touched Sandor.
I did not touch him. I kept an inch between us.
Nah, I felt that.
You felt the wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I'll let you have that.
Has Sandor still been drinking?
He's taken a nip or two from his flask every now and then.
The next time you go for it, it's not there anymore.
The fuck? All right. Where is my flask?
I think you
I
left it
wouldn't
back at
touch
the inn.
anything you put to your lips.
I'm fairly sure you left it back at the inn.
I never leave that thing.
Are you positive?
It was right here. I was drinking it on the way. We were walking here.
Sandor, do you really need it?
Well, it's one of the few possessions I took with me from home. Not counting these. And he points at the swords. And this shit, which, if you really look at Sandor, he looks very shabby at a glance, but when you really look at the material of his coat, it's actually quite fine. It's held up under a lot. It's very well made. Probably worth more than he appears to be worth at a glance.
Ouch!
I
That's hurtful.
am concerned by the amount you drink, though, Sandor. I'm not sure that it's healthy.
Okay, cool. It's not about me. I just want to find it.
He's definitely going to drink himself to an early grave, but I can understand.
You have
Attachment to an
concern,
object.
Sandor.
Are you sure you didn't just drop it in the snow and missed your coat pocket?
No, I picked it up for you. You left it at the inn. And I'll retrieve it from my pouch. I can hold on to it for you if you like.
Back.
I just golf clap silently in the background.
I can.
Can't
sure,
help someone
you
who
can
doesn't
take
want to
it
be
if you-
helped. He's gonna start walking again.
You can take it if you want. I'm just, I noticed that you drink from it almost as though it's a habit.
Yeah, it is. It's a coping mechanism. It's called self-medicating. Can I have it back?
Okay,
Thank you.
here you go. It's a good step that you
Fine.
misplaced it then, eh?
I'm gonna nudge Lon's Delight and just be like, "You're lucky that one doesn't get aggressive when you steal."
If I need to roll deception or anything like that, we can totally do that.
I'm more interested, Ipsis, in how loud that you said this.
Very, very, very just kind of bumped and whispered.
Would Sandor be paying attention, or would he be too?
He would not care. He's a little steamed right now and just tying it back on a little extra tight. One more knot than usual to melt.
Having caught that conversation, Ransom is going to check to make sure nothing is missing.
Nothing's missing.
Okay. Kind of holds his amulet a little protectively.
They seem quite touchy, Ipsis.
So, I was gonna ask, are we walking to the house still? Or did we get to the house?
Yeah. So
Or
where
what
are
are
you
we
guys
do-
headed? Are you
I was gonna
heading?
say, where are we going?
Are you heading
Yeah,
to the
I think-
store? Are you heading back to the inn?
Sandra was aiming for the shop to go.
Oh, okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
When they get there, he's just gonna climb on through the window to go grab some stuff.
Well, at this point, the snow's melted away enough. You could probably walk through the front door.
Okay.
You actually see Wandering Birches Trading Post in Sauna. Written, the sign is crooked, knocked off of its hinges.
All right. Let's grab what we can get out of this place and head back, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
And as you walk in the front door, the room feels warm, like warmer than outside, but not unnaturally so, as you actually notice kind of a second back room that has kind of there's shelves and stuff pushed up against it, so you didn't really notice it earlier. But there's kind of some steam coming out from behind the door, and the place looks like in disarray. It looks much like what you saw previously, with stuff scattered everywhere, and you can kind of hunt for whatever you're interested in, or pick anything up, or look around. What do you want to do?
I think he will. Oh, you're muted, Ray.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I'm just gonna start walking around and looting what I can, just ripping through boxes.
Uh, Ransom would like to look for a blank journal. And then anything that might interest him other than the warm cloak that he's already got.
Roll just a straight like d20 to see if you're able to find a journal or not.
Okay.
It would not be the usual kind of thing that would be stocked in this location.
Yeah, he's just kind of vaguely hopeful. That's gonna be a no.
Yeah. And you don't find anything that looks like it. Maybe you find some like parchment behind the counter that looks like it's used to like write receipts or something. IOUs. But that's about it. You are able to find just like I said, warm clothes, kind of big fuzzy sacks. There's a lot of things that look like they might be hand knit using some kind of like goat fur. You can imagine where that might come from. And lots of climbing gear, lots of snow gear, stuff to maybe repair like a wagon. But it's pretty run-of-the-mill basic survival supplies. You could probably find some rations or things like that.
Yeah, Sandor will go for rations and just stuff a few in his pack and grab one of the warmer cloaks or coats to keep with him. But leave pretty much.
You actually managed to find one that's a little bit like has some like waterproofing, that oiled waterproofing on the outside and everything. It's pretty. It's like the nicest one in there.
Yeah, so he'll just sling that over his shoulder and stuff the rations into his pack at his side. Well, not a total loss.
Yes. Is Lon's Delight's armor and weapons still here?
Yeah, you could find them where you left them. They are wet, which is concerning because the snow has melted, but they're approximately in the same place that you had dumped them before, outside.
She'll just scoop them up for now, then she won't put them back on. Like, everything would be okay except for the padded armor. She doesn't want to catch cold.
Yeah. And it is damp.
Mm.
But it is in fine shape. Doesn't look like anybody's bothered it or anything. Anybody else looking anywhere in particular?
Just gonna grab some winter clothes, some rations myself, and just.
Is there anything in the room like that looks like it was maybe hidden before everything kind of went disarray? Any boxes that look untouched or anything of the sort?
No, there's no like, it's not like a shelf moved and you see like a hidden door, or there's like a box that has a weird label on it. There's nothing suspicious of that nature. You do, as you're poking around, you do see that the shelf that you had looked at before, everything looks normal. It looks like a wall. But yeah, the only thing that you may not have noticed the first time is that steam coming from that room in the back.
I'll gesture over to like the bookcase that I saw the rift or whatever behind and just say, that's where I saw it over there. It lasted for exactly the 30 seconds it lasted when we just saw it outside, but it was over there in the corner, if that makes up for anything.
I think maybe it's just gone now, but good to know at least.
Sandor's gonna wander over there and take a look.
Looks like a wall with a shelf in front of it.
He's gonna move the shelf if it's movable.
Yeah. It looks like a wall.
Huh. Okay. Weird.
Tell me, Ipsis, was there anything... You said it was like a place that was warm. Was there any, like, people who tried to talk to you, like gods or something like that, or cultists, or?
No, there was no people. I didn't even see any buildings. It was just sand.
You're kind of
Endless
into the
fields of
idea of this
sand.
being a cult, huh?
Am I? I'm sorry.
This is like the second time you've mentioned a cult.
Yeah, is there like a thing we should know about? Other
Do
the
you
fa-
attract cults? Do you hunt
Yeah.
cults?
No. And
Insight
no?
check. Can I please insight check that?
Yeah, and if you want to oppose that in any way, Scrat, you are more than welcome to.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I would like to insight check as well, if I may.
23.
Oh boy.
Ransom has certain talents. Very certain talents.
You can see into his childhood.
I know everything about Lon's Delight.
Oh. Yeah, 18.
Oh!
Lon's Delight's not telling the whole truth.
Looks like we got a
Sandor
new
just figures she's
friend.
weird.
He's watching her, and Lon's like, you can kind of tell he does not buy it. But he just kind of slowly blinks and then turns away to continue looking around.
And before you turn away, she gives you the most motherly, kind-looking smile.
He turns around quicker.
Ooh,
He's not used to this. He doesn't know how to feel about this.
Right, well, there doesn't seem to be anything here. I guess we're done.
Yeah, it's a
Other
shame.
than weird whatever the hell happened out there.
Ransom.
Mm.
You said you know some of these citizens, some of the people that stay around here. You see a lot of people that travel through. Have you ever seen somebody come back from the monastery and stay in town, or has everybody left?
So, the thing about the monastery, what I've noticed, apparently, some people who travel the path or who know people who have traveled the path, there's usually about 3 results. These results as follows: they die or are never seen again. Or they're seen much later, now a part of the monastery. Wait, maybe it is a cult. Shit.
You know what sounds good right now?
If you say alcohol, I swear to God.
Well, yes, but that's a given. Leaving town, I was thinking, really.
Unfortunately, and highly illogically, I think I'm too curious just to leave this lying. But feel free to run off like a cowardly dog.
You know, if I wasn't broke, I would. Because you know what people live? Cowards.
Oh, but they're so boring.
I don't need to worry about boring. You should know
And it's-
that. I apparently almost punched you in the jaw, and I definitely don't fucking remember that.
Besides, true, the cowards tend to live, but it's generally the more honorable types that tend to die horribly.
Right. And
Excuse
that's
me?
the part that sucks.
And I am not that type, and I don't think you are either.
What do you
She
mean
might be. I'm
honorable
concerned.
people die? What?
and as you all are bickering amongst yourselves, the front door kind of swings open, and Birch and Fletch come in hand, and they're like, oh, and Birch goes, oh, hello, you all are back, I see.
Yeah, we kind of raided your shop. If that's
I mean,
okay.
I like I said, what's mine is yours. You saved my husband.
Much obliged.
Can I help you all with anything else? If not, we clearly need to begin cleaning up. And Fletch has already started kind of picking things up and putting things away. And
Where would we go to find out more about breaks in reality?
a shrink.
Yeah, no, but seriously. There was apparently a weird crack in reality in your wall behind the bookshelf there, and then we definitely saw one in the sky. And don't give me that look. I know I'm a little drunk, but I'm not that drunk. And she's the one who saw it anyway. And he'll point at Ipsis.
I did. Be very wary of that corner of your shop behind that one specific bookcase. Just be wary, you know?
This is okay. I mean, and he looks at the wall and he's like very cautiously like knocks on it. He's like, I mean, it seems okay now, but if I see anything, I'll let you know. And yes, it is officially my birthday in my time zone.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
I think Sam stayed up just to do that.
That's cute.
Do you debut for the birthday? Good plan.
Yes. Kicking off my birthday right.
Seriously, though.
Hashtag winning.
And Birch kind of knocks on the wall and he's like, everything seems fine, but we'll send a message down to you. I assume you're all staying at midnight. I mean, there's not really anywhere else to stay.
So Matty Games just donated to introduce a complication for your birthday.
Oh boy. Cool.
Friend, why do you hate us?
And he says, but I think Soren was wondering where you went. Back at midnight. If you might want to go see what was up.
Ransom has a brief moment where his expression looks a little bit panicked.
She said there was somebody there to see you. Asked for the four of you by name.
More panic.
We should probably get going then. We don't want to make them wait.
I don't like that. How does anyone know we're all together?
I don't know, but it might mean some answers, and that's what we've been looking for this entire time, so I'm willing to take the bargain.
Maybe it's the monks. You said they had some sort of premonition about pilgrims coming. Maybe they had a premonition about us solving all their problems.
That's less morbid than what I was thinking. I'm gonna go with that because I hope you're right.
Yeah, okay, I'll let you guys do the talking and just kind of
I'm not doing the talking.
background.
Kind of pulls up his hood immediately. Like, no.
Well, why don't you and Sandor stay in the background together, Ransom, and me and Ipsis will do the talking.
Why did you have to phrase it like that?
Like
He turns around, waves to Birch and Fletch, and leaves.
Am I like, what the hell? Whatever. Come on, let's go.
We'll start walking back.
And at this point, you guys know this trip back and forth across the street pretty well. So we're going to say that you make it pretty quickly back to the tavern. But you immediately notice that it looks fine. Midnight looks fine. The windows are back in place. Things look good. It looks like sparkly and new.
Are you guys
That's a little odd.
a little?
It's quite odd.
It didn't even look this nice when I first showed up.
Maybe a mending monk showed up.
Right. Okay. I Guess we go in.
Sandor, you're looking at the building like it's haunted or full of some sort of ancient horror or something. We'll be fine.
I thought I
No.
was the one full of doom and gloom.
Nope, it's just fucking sparkly, and it really shouldn't be because it was definitely a bit dingy when I last saw it and kind of destroyed, so this is weird. Let's go. He's just
Yeah.
gonna shove the door open.
And as you walk inside, it looks sparkly and new on the inside. All the tables are righted, the chairs are put back together. There's actually some townspeople who are here eating a late lunch. You see the pilgrims from the back are all sitting around a table looking a lot calmer than they were before. And Soren is looks like they're kind of almost polishing the bar. Like she's almost whistling while she works.
The hell is going on here?
I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah. Good plan.
Well, let's find Soren. Soren!
Oh, yes. Oh, I see you're back.
Pulls up the hood a little more.
Yes.
Phantom, you think at this point you want to be afraid of me anymore?
Not afraid of you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I've never been afraid of you. You're practically a ball of sunshine.
Yes, you are
you're not
rather cute, Soren. Very well done on getting the place all patched up and doubly fast.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we had a team. Small team, but a team.
Hell of a team.
Magic users by chance?
A small collection of us. And you see a little sparkle from their hand.
Okay, so how exactly did you break reality?
Break reality? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know anything about magic. But reality's broken, right? That's how all the things are happening.
I mean, weird stuff is happening, but like weird stuff happens here all the time.
Yeah, why, though?
I don't know. Some people say it's the lake gives off a weird vib. Some people say it's the monastery doing things. I think it's just, we get a lot of weird people. Weird things follow weird people. You just gotta learn to roll with it.
Inside.
So would you say these this small group of magic wielders are considered part of this weird people?
Oh no, I mean, like I can do, and she wiggles a finger and a glass gets clean. She's like, but sometimes it's nice to use elbow grease.
I think she means us.
And she's like, I don't think we're particularly weird.
Stick around.
I
might be able to teach you a few things.
And is that insight check?
That is indeed. There's an 18 for insight. And thank you very much to Almighty Games for their resub. 3 months. That's a new chat badge. You get a little scroll thing.
And you can tell Lance Delight that Soren is telling the truth with the fact that weird things just seem to happen here, and that most of the people in town kind of roll with it. But you can tell that there is something more under there that maybe she might know more than she's saying.
Lonsdale will accept what she says. She won't tell the others about it in front of her face, but she'll save it until they're alone to discuss Soren.
And Soren goes, "Oh, I just wanted you guys to come back because we received a notice, which is weird. We got a message from the monastery that someone's coming to collect you if you'd like
What?
to go."
Us.
Collect?
Okay, but we're not pilgrims.
That.
Rest
And she pulls a note out of her pocket.
Rest one hand on Sandor's shoulder and the other one on Ipsis's shoulder. See, I told you. All we have to do is wait around and look interested and something will turn up.
Ransom is glad he's not included in the shoulder grabbing.
Yeah, that's not as comforting as it could be.
I find it really comforting. It's nice to know that there is a rhythm to the universe amidst all the chaos.
Are you being serious right now?
You just gotta accept it. You just gotta accept it and find peace in it.
Okay. Sure.
You don't have to believe it. You don't have to bend your truths.
Unfortunately, the universe is entirely out of our control.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
It's just the logical way to look at it.
Well, it is with that attitude.
And Soren passes you guys this note. And if one of you opens it, it just says, Dearest Soren, we have an emissary coming down to meet Landslides, Ransom, Sandor, and Ipsis. I hope they'll be amenable to a trip up the mountain. And it just says on the bottom, in almost like a stamp, Guardians of the New Moon.
Oh, now we have a name as well, the Guardians of a New Moon. And who was holding the letter? It looked like Sandor, right? She'll whisper to Sandor, that sounds like a cult name to me.
Do I hear that? Is there any chance I hear that?
How sneaky were you? Were you trying to hide it from your party or just from Soren?
Just from Soren.
Okay, you hear it, Ransom.
Ransom, he's got like long ears and one of them twitches and he just sighs and looks at Lon's Delight.
And Soren says, "This is very strange. They don't usually, actually send messages.
I guess we're special.
We literally got a raven. This is weird."
How many people come back down from the mountain after they go up? Just out of interest.
Well, more than you'd expect.
You hesitated longer than I would normally be comfortable with.
Well, it's a surprisingly complicated question. Most people don't actually get all the way to the top. A lot of people come back, but they, turn around like 500 steps up. They talk about they hit some spot where there's it's not an easy climb anymore, and people tend to give up. Usually it's because one or more of their party fell off of the easy climb, or the not so easy climb. So 2 and 3.
Kelly, can I ask, when you stumbled over that sentence there, was that an in-character stumble or an out-of-character stumble? Did she change what she was going to say when you said a difficult part to climb?
Out of character stumble.
Okay, cool. I thought she was like, you get to this this difficult part of terrain,
And she's just like, they come back and they're not a whole group. And then there's the ones that occasionally when a monk comes to collect people, I recognize them as someone who's stayed a night at midnight before.
Like I mentioned.
They just join these Guardians of the
New Moon.
Yeah, it's the Temple of the Waning Crescent.
Okay.
Oh, right, that's the name. I knew it was something with moons.
Sandor's just sort of the letter like it has got slime on it, and he's just holding it out to anyone else who wants to take it.
Landslides will take it.
Are you just gonna pocket the letter?
I'm going to give it a good read first. I'm
you
going
see
to
exactly what-
scrutinize it very closely.
Would you like to roll an investigation?
Yes. What kind of ink was used? Who did this? Did they have a deft hand? Is it in fact a wizard?
Sure looks like paper.
In fact, the script is so swirly, it might even be kind of hard to make out some of the letters.
However, she does have like a quill magnifying glass and all that sort of thing on her, so she will, despite not being able to tell anything, she'll be really taking to it.
But yeah, it looks like parchment and ink, and there's a crinkle in it from where it was rolled up.
Yeah, seems legit. How long do they take to
A
get
wax
here?
seal. Oh, I mean, they could be here anytime.
Great. So in the meantime, I guess you're stuck with us.
I'm gonna go pack up my room.
It's a good move.
Yeah.
How long's the day been? Are we still in the morning? Is it afternoon by now? We've done a bit.
You're probably late afternoon.
Will they make us make the climb tonight, or will we be staying the night?
Oh, I think it makes sense for you to stay the night. They'll probably be here in the morning. I'll. She snaps her fingers.
Okay.
There's some rooms ready for you in the back.
Excellent. I'll pay for Sandor's room, and I'll give you an extra gold if you cut him off before he gets too drunk.
Hey,
I mean,
speaking of, Soren, my stuff. He basically just realized he left Linda's without his stuff.
oh, and
He's not sure he had it when he arrived because he was probably not conscious when he arrived.
and you see Soren gets a little shorter at this point. She's been standing behind the bar and she's clearly like walking down the steps, and you hear like some rustling behind the bar, and a big basket comes up, a big box, and gets plomped back on the top, and she's like,
You're a lifesaver. Thank you.
and she looks at Lancelot and she's like, since you asked first, I'll make sure that, we keep her out of Linda's tonight.
I very much appreciate that.
I wish you luck.
And you all are able to kind of spend the rest of the day sassing each other, eating. Soren makes a pretty incredible stew for you all for dinner that night. And as you rise in the morning at dawn with Soren knocking on your doors, and you realize that Soren was up later than all of you were, and now she's back knocking on doors first thing in the morning. And she wakes you all up and says, well, I have to run back out the back, but I believe if you want to collect your things, your ride is here.
Ride?
I mean it figuratively.
Notably, Ransom still does not look like he slept in a month. Like, he's already purple, but there are very dark purple, like, bruises under his eyes. He just looks so tired.
Would there be a chance in the night for Lonsdelight before they go to bed to interrogate Ransom? I mean, talk to Ransom.
Sure, we can go back a step or two and play that out.
Okay.
So, like, whenever they find a moment alone together, like, Lonsdelight will just very bluntly turn to Ransom and be like, so you get very passionate when Sandor is around.
And?
Well, I just noticed that you get very angry and heated all the time.
Not angry, irritated.
Ah, irritated.
I don't get angry.
What is it about Sandor that annoys you?
God, it's a list.
You keep a list about that?
I keep a list about everyone. I constantly assess people.
Hmm.
And Sandor is not the kind of person that I prefer. I don't like bawdiness.
Of course you don't. And who would? Seems
Why
very
did you say it like that?
guarded, though, to be taking lists about everyone and assessing people all the time. Don't you ever relax around people?
No,
Maybe your family?
definitely not.
That seems very sad.
Maybe. That's how it is, though.
Hmm.
Don't look so sad about it. It's nothing troublesome. Not any longer.
Well, I hope that you grow to trust someone or some few people enough to not feel like analyzing them all the time. I understand. It takes time to trust people again after, something has happened. But, you'll get there.
I appreciate the optimism. It's not necessarily mistrust, it's just understanding. I like to understand.
It's okay to have feelings too, Ransom.
I never. They are troublesome.
Yes.
And I have emotions, I just don't get angry.
You're getting a little heated right now, but that's okay. It's possibly because you're bottling up all the other emotions, but it's a natural thing to happen. And I don't judge you in any way for it, and I'm comfortable to have this conversation with you.
I'm very glad you're comfortable.
And I know you're uncomfortable right now, but I hope you come to feel comfortable in the future.
We'll see. I appreciate your concern.
Anyway, you need sleep and carbs. And she's gonna, before she heads to bed, Lonsdale will make a point of making sure she has her own room a little way away from everyone else. Not related to anything, don't need to worry about that anymore.
Can I insight check Scrat?
But she'll make sure that Ransom, she'll order a plate of like carbs for Ransom before she goes to bed, like just some carb heavy dessert or something.
Oh boy.
Shortly after you head to your room, Ransom, you get a small knock at the door, and Soren is there with like a piece of like chocolate cake.
Oh god, sweets. What are the chances that you'll take it and tell her I ate it?
Very little. She keeps paying me very well.
What if I pay you?
That's not really good business.
3 gold.
At this point, Ipsis just walks by, takes the cake, and keeps going to her room and goes to bed, just eating the cake.
You're currently my favorite, he says after her. Good talk, he says to Soren.
Yeah.
And we move back to the morning where you all wake up. Ipsis, you've managed to take this plate of chocolate cake and you were wise enough to leave the crumb-covered plate outside of Ransom's door, which is right next door, rather than outside of your own. So when Landslides actually comes kind of down the stairs from a room that's upstairs and away from everyone, she doesn't quite realize that the plate is in the wrong place.
Nope, not at all.
Sandor, you wake up and do you have worse of a headache than normal because you didn't get your usual consumption, or better?
I think he's probably doing slightly better because he had to replace it with something, and the something ended up being water. But he was angry about it all night.
Yeah, and you wake up and for the first time in a long time you don't have a splitting headache. It's just like that rough edge, that like annoying.
Unfortunate Slight throb. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sandor, you look so fit and healthy this morning.
I feel like shit. Thanks.
Ransom comes down. Still looks like he hasn't slept in a month, but just drops to sit.
Lonsta like stops herself from like touching Sandor's chin, but her hand twitches too, and she like returns and goes, "If you look like shit at Sandor, then you're definitely the good shit."
That was sweet.
Okay.
At this point, Ipsis walks downstairs, kind of just groggily wiping her eyes.
Morning.
And as you all head into the common space, Soren isn't there. She's kind of bustled off to the back. You don't actually even hear anything. She's just kind of woken you up and left. And standing in the middle of the front room is a young half-elven woman wearing robes that are half black and half white, with some purple detailing around the trim. And she turns to look at you and says, "Ah, exactly who I've been looking for." And that is where we will end tonight's episode.
I would just like to note that I appreciate her aesthetic.
Yeah.
I appreciated this whole damn thing.
This is amazing! This is amazing! This is amazing!
It's so good.
I'm so happy! I'm so happy!
Well, everyone, we are going to run some credits. Before we do, please take a moment to check out all of the links that the bot is spamming to you. Big shout out to our sponsors, Bird in the Storm Publishing and Magehand Press, who make this all possible. We're going to head over to the Discord chat, where we will talk about the session, our favourite parts and all that sort of thing, and we look forward to seeing you over there as we talk about our trash fires, and I apologise profusely for mother-hitting everyone. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 PM EST with Nightborn, a new Numenera campaign, so we'll see you then. Bye!